Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist and Spiritual Teacher here. You know, uh, blood poisoning is a terrible thing, and it can be prevented so much easier than trying to heal trying to heal the whole thing, really. And especially if you live in the tropics or in, South America, Asia, in the island somewhere in the South Pacific, or you live in the Midwest where it's humid, or the East Coast, or the South where it's lots of humidity, and here also. If you get a little cut or scratch or something, it can fulminate with lots of bacteria, and all of a sudden, boy, you are in big trouble. And I've been there myself. I know a couple of times in my life, and it's really not good. In fact, we had a family member here not too long ago that he works in construction, and he got a little cut on his hand, and he didn't really do anything about it. And a couple of weeks later, he was in the hospital, and he had a red infection all the way up his arm. And if it gotten a little farther, it would have gotten to his heart, and it would have killed him. There's no doubt about that. That infection is just spreading and spreading. So it's really important to, if you get a little cut or scrape or anything, and those things happen every day. I cut myself out and working in the yard on a regular basis. Those little hand sanitizers, they work really well. There's mostly alcohol, and put that on there and get rid of that bacteria on there and keep it clean, and do that 2 or 3 times a day to make sure that it dries up and there's no bacteria going on. And especially if you get a hangnail or something, and way down in the corner of your nail, and there's a little bit of bacteria growing there, and because maybe the hangnail started to bleed there, boy, you better put something on it. Also, tea tree oil works really well. I have discovered that. Also, a little bit of iodine tincture, white iodine, red iodine, or even gentian violet works really well. All these type of things were great for preventing it. And I've had a lot of people come to me who had already had full-blown septicemia or blood poisoning, and it's not easy to get rid of. You can take things like andrographis, which is a powerful antibiotic. I don't recommend it, using it on a regular basis at all, because it's really powerful. And taking somewhere between 400 to 1,000 milligrams in this situation twice a day to get rid of that. If it doesn't go away in a couple days or start to subside in a couple days, you really need to go to a doctor and start doing some heavy-duty drugs to get rid of it. Otherwise, it's going to kill you. There's no doubt about that. Sometimes we do need pharmaceuticals in life-threatening situations. So there's nothing else we can do. Then come back and do the probiotics and get your body back into shape, because it's better to be alive than it is to be dead. We need to do what we need to do many times in order to get ourselves going again. And just like I said, preventing is the big deal here. A lot of times you just put a little dab of, hand sanitizer on that wound, cover it with a Band-Aid, and or keep it dry. I'm not a big Band-Aid fan unless it's a real big wound. I've cut myself, chopping vegetables before, and you got to use a Band-Aid. There's no doubt about it. And so it's really important to put a little bit of something on there. My go-to one is usually tea tree oil, and especially for hangnails, because that oil gets down inside the hangnail area and stays there for a long period of time. So that's really good. And then work it in there too, because he's got to get down into that area and kill the bacteria. Also, it's been a really interesting week with people calling me and texting me and emailing me and all kinds of stuff. And boy, I've had a lot of very interesting calls here lately. And a lot of people not willing to deal with their own feelings. And I think that's Very interesting, you know what I mean? I think my feelings are my friends. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But I've found a lot of people who don't want to deal with their feelings whatsoever. And if we want to end our pain and suffering, we gotta have to deal with our feelings. There's no doubt about that. And I have some spiritual ways, or what I call the 10 spiritual ways of dealing with our feelings. First is to, instead of acting on our feelings, just sit and watch the feelings. And I had one particular man from Connecticut, and he was just, I told him, he's been afraid of his feelings most of his life. And he's in 60 some years old now. And he started looking at his feelings, and he just wouldn't do that, be fighting with his feelings all the time. He started looking at a feeling, just sat there with his feelings. And all of a sudden, in his own words, he said, poof, they disappeared. And that's exactly what will happen. It's just the nature of feelings. Feelings come, feelings go. A lot of times we have feelings that came from our childhood that we haven't dealt with. I know a particular person that had a lot of trauma back when he was a kid, and a lot of anger and resentment and all these different things, and still holding on to that. And it's affected his whole life. And so we really need to allow ourselves to feel those feelings and allow ourselves to bring attention to them. Also, the second thing to do is bring attention to whatever it is that you're feeling. Don't ignore the feeling. This is imperative. Don't ignore that feeling at all. If you ignore it, it's kind of like pushing it down, and eventually we explode if we don't feel the feeling. Hold your feelings in a field of balance. That's number 3. Hold your feelings in a field of balance. Is your feeling a feeling that creates harmony? Or does your feeling detract from your feeling of peace? Ask yourself that. Is it something that creates harmony, or is it something that creates disharmony? Number 4, find clarity about what you are feeling. Perhaps you don't know what it is that you're feeling. A lot of people don't, especially if you're separated yourself from feelings. That's a big deal. They don't know what feeling it is, and that creates anxiety. So go through your database. What is it you're feeling? Happiness? It could even be happiness, and you shut that off too. If you shut off one feeling, you shut off all feelings, and we become numb completely. So is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it envy? Is it anxiousness? Is it anxiety? Fear? What is it that you're feeling? And from there, when we clarify what it is, sometimes it just disappears. Absolutely disappears. So that's another thing. What is it I'm feeling? Oh, just keep pushing it away. Keep pushing it away. That'll never work. No. We got to allow ourselves to just connect with our feelings and know what it is. Number 5, have compassion for what you're experiencing. It's easy to have compassion for others, but when it comes to ourselves, a lot of times it's like, it's a bit harder to have compassion for ourselves sometimes, but it's really important to have self-compassion. How can we have compassion for anybody else if we don't have compassion for the one we see in the mirror? It's impossible, So it's important that we love ourselves unconditionally, which is very difficult for a lot of people. When I say it's difficult in general, because most people don't love themselves. Absolutely don't love themselves. They kind of think, oh, I love myself, but they've never heard the word I love you. Maybe their parents never heard the word, said the word I love you to them. Maybe they're in a relationship where they never say I love you. And the kids don't say I love you, never. And it just kind of perpetuates itself from one generation to another. And it's kind of a generational thing. We just don't do feelings in this house at all, or the next house, or the next house. Very interesting. So you have to start loving yourself. That's number 5. Number 6, rest in the experience of what you have going on in your life. Accept what it is that you have going on instead of fighting it. That's really important. Oh, I tend to think that a lot of people tend to want to fight. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to fight this whole thing. It doesn't work that way with feelings. It absolutely doesn't work no matter what. Accept it. Accepting this feeling starts the process of healing our inner world. And I have anxiety. Let's, you know, start accepting that. If we don't accept that we have anxiety, how are you going to heal it? It's not going to happen. So we have to accept that. That's number 6. Number 7, instead of trying to control our outer world, which many times we have no control at all, it's impossible to control, try controlling your mind. That's a big one, really. It's our mind which gets out of control. Our mind goes into fits of emotion over the smallest little things. Watch your mind. See your mind, and as a child trying to figure itself out. And it is a child, there's no doubt about it. This thing is a child. And we think, well, we're so great because we can think. I don't think so. Getting angry and having little fits is the way of a child, and lovingly care for your mind like a child by giving it rest. All children need lots of rest. Especially our child mind. The only way to rest your mind is with meditation. And meditation shuts off the mind. It's not about religion or anything. It's really a scientific proven process of shutting off the mind for a while so that the mind can heal. The brain can heal. That's all there is to it. Then number 8, think about your emotions this way. If you lost your memory completely, would any of this matter at all? Would any of it matter? Probably not. Not at all. The only thing that would matter if you lost your memory would be this moment right now. This moment right now. You would more than likely be thinking, oh, what to do now? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And remember to be here, be now. There is no other moment. There really is no other moment. That's number 8. And most people are thinking about the past, and they have a lot of anger about the past, or they have a lot of guilt and shame about the past, or they're thinking about the future and have anxiety and fear about the future. So where is the moment here now? It doesn't exist. I mean, they are losing this moment right now of being in peace. Number 9. If you have pain and suffering going on with your family, what to do with that turmoil? Most of us try to fix it. We can't fix anybody else. There's no doubt about that. It's impossible to fix people. You know what I mean? Don't even try. You can be the best person you can be, and maybe somebody will go, I would like to emulate that. That would be good. Go inward. Going inward is the answer. Go inward and touch your pain. Go inward and soothe away your pain. That's really the answer for family problems. This is what all the great spiritual teachers of the East have taught. Be in silence. Touch what you are afraid of touching. Touch what it is that you're afraid of touching. A lot of times we think it's like a wall of fire, but really it's a wall of water, and we can walk right through it. Be one with your inner being. Heal your inner world, and your outer world will be at peace. There's no doubt about it. You be at peace. Have you ever been around somebody that's really at a deep state of peace? And boy, I have. I've had this deep feeling of peace come over me. When I went to see Shri Ravi Shankar one time. This is not the Ravi Shankar that makes music. This is the avatar in India. And I'm telling you, I went up to give him a hug. This man was in such peace. It was like he was not there. It was like, wow. And the rest of the day, I was in this state of deep peace. It was like, wow. If you can reach that place, it doesn't matter what's going on in the rest of your life. It will bring peace to you no matter what. All of this turmoil in your inner being will start to fade. And it will no longer be turmoil or suffering because of this family process. Number 10, be mindful of what you're doing every single moment. Teach your mind to be present, because right now this present is a gift. It's a gift, a present. And anytime your mind wanders away from this moment, gently bring your mind back to this moment. Is being mindful. And that's the process of being mindful every single moment. And I have a number 11. I added here, be a person who can see the good in all things. And that's of utmost importance. Even when there's turmoil going on, even in your family, see this as a process which will bring eventually peace to everything. And that's really important. And if you practice these, actually 11 spiritual processes for getting rid of pain and suffering every single day, then I can tell you for sure, because I've had a lot of clients that have come to me who practice this, and eventually all their pain and suffering it disappears and dissipates, and they let go and they find this inner peace. There's no doubt about it. And meditation is super important. You know, I put in an hour every morning and an hour every evening. Even Thomas Keaton, the great, Christian monk, Thomas did a lot of meditation. Even Thomas Merton did a lot of meditation. The Greek Christian monks in Mount Athos do a lot of meditation, and on and on and on. It is really amazing for healing the mind and actually making our brain bigger and thicker. And so we can think better and we have more creative. Everything changes, absolutely everything. So allow yourself to find inner peace. Get rid of your pain and suffering. And allow yourself to heal or actually prevent blood poisoning. It's really important. Don't allow that to take over your whole life. Absolutely. If you remember, if I'm here for you anytime. Please watch the little ads, because, excuse me, we get a little bit of money if you watch the ads. If you just hit skip, you don't get anything out of that. So also, my consultations are free, and my phone number is 831-869-9119, 831-869-9119. My email is drpaulhaider, D-R-P-A-U-L, as in Paul, Haider, H-A-I-D-E-R, @gmail.com. That's drpaulhaider@gmail.com. And my Skype address is drpaulhaider. Send me an invite. And you can go on my Facebook page under Dr. Paul Haider, Dr. Paul Haider, and you can message me there also. And you can text me or WhatsApp me with my phone number also. So feel free to get a hold of me. If you care to make a donation on my Paul Haider site, go to there and check out all my videos and my 5,000 plus articles. Go to paulhaider.com, www.paulhaider.com. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and the beginning of the holiday season. And remember one thing above all, above everything else, I love you.